Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to winter. So I did go and pull out some fabrics that I thought might be of use. That was just a scrap piece of linen. So I don't know, just chucked it in thinking I might use it. It sort of matched this tone. The butterflies, I bought a roll of this trim at Spotlight about a month ago. And I just cut 4 of them off and popped it in my tray. And I thought maybe they might find a home on this. I grabbed some fabrics. That's those Japanese fabrics that I had put aside for the primitive rabbit that I got in Balan when I was down at Ballarat, yada, yada, yada. Gosh, there's always a story attached to everything. These ones are old. They are from my quilting days. And then that piece of fabric just popped out. And I thought, well, I'll pop it in because it could become maybe a layer within a flower. Now the bird. We have made a decision on the bird. There's my little ones that I made last time. They're sitting there in the trim. And I had an idea too that I think, put those away. We don't need them at the moment. Had an idea. See this background in here and here, there, a little bit down there. I think I'm going to use grey, but I haven't yet picked a grey. So I need to do that today as well. And bird. Now I've used this fabric many, many, many times, and I think the bird from this, there's a few on it, will work beautifully. Now please don't ask me the name of this fabric. I've had it for some time, and silly me chopped off that 2017 stitch something. I know over the time I've used this, some of you have recognized it, but I am not sure and I cannot remember. So please don't ask me. Now, what I want to do is pick a bird, preferably one along this bottom edge, that best suits our piece. I'm thinking this guy, actually. He's sort of got the right orientation. Could do this guy. I do need to get my words in as well, so they could either go up here, my poem, which I still haven't found. I sort of don't mind him, to be honest, and we build the bird up into here, which would connect to that. Or this little guy gets cut here and he's just sitting on a twig out in the middle of nowhere. I think I'm going to cut this fellow out. You can always trim it back. We'll go right to the very end and we'll see how much space we've got. So I feel better now. I've got my bird and I've found some fabrics. I could not find any fabrics that were in those blue tones. This tone here, duck egg blue. But I've got time. I can either stitch them or if I do find something, add them in. But at the moment, nothing. But that's okay. All right, little guy. We're going to lose that and attach you in there. We bring you right down. I don't want to lose any of those flowers. So I could keep it's such a good piece. Now if I was stitching this in and the background was going to be completely covered, I would leave a little bit. But I have a feeling this is going to be quite clean up here. Maybe I just do camphor stitch. So I'm going to actually cut the bird out true to its edge. Where if I had that little bit of cream showing, I could stitch in over him and he would merge into the background, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that with this piece. I love how this is a bit of air up here. So intense and a little bit, and I don't want to lose those stripes. That's part of the charm of this fabric, I think. So I might even just do camphor stitch through those stripes. Don't know. Can't make all these decisions. Not yet. The piece evolves. If you've watched me with these other pieces for the other season, they just evolve, and I like just focusing on one little area, and that's the area I work, you know. Don't try and do too much too soon, because I might miss out on giving my mind a chance to think about something and come up with something completely different. And when you're doing a piece like this that is quite intensely stitched, give yourself time. I think that's my... Oh, I'm so wise today, aren't I? Goodness sakes. Just ignore all that. I'm feeling wise. Don't worry, it'll go downhill very shortly, I'm sure. Never seems to stay wise. Get silly real quick. But I think I've best described what I was trying to say. Look at that, best described. There you go, not so wise now. Shocking English. I'll just fussy cut this little lad out. Go right to that tip. I don't know if it'll fit, but we'll see. Don't mind a little bit of cream. It's very thin there, so if we go too thin, it'll disintegrate. But I will grab out my art glitter glue and we'll run a bead of glue. See, these little flowers, they technically don't match, but once I get my rhythm on the flowers, I can bring whatever I do here up into here, and that orange will disappear and they'll look like they're all part of it. That's a lot of fun when you're taking something that is completely different to your colour scheme and stitching over it to create your colour scheme. So if you've got a great piece of fabric, but you do not like the colours, don't worry about it. Just look at the design of the flowers, the design of the leaves, and if it's something you can imagine stitching in your colour selection, it's worth having in your stash for a rainy day, because you never know when you want to pull a piece out and use the artist's drawing to sort of give you a foundation for your creation. At the end of the day, there's some talented people creating designs for fabric. Hello, Rachel. Talented girls making fabric, I tell ya. Congratulations. Oh, so proud. It's so good. I love it when a massive industry like fabric printing and the little guy can have a go and be very successful. It's really good. Really good. Okay. Now I'm getting really fine. Don't know, will I need to cut into there? I may not need to, because it might sit where the cream stripe is. So then I could probably leave it and no one will ever notice it. It's certainly giving integrity to my little piece that I'm fussy cutting out here. Nearly there. Hello, little bird. I sort of don't mind his colours, to be honest, too. They sort of work with the piece to the point where I might even just stay within his colour palette because he looks good. All right, let's see how much of this we can use and where we can nestle in. I really want to keep those. You might need to go up into there. They're never quite perfect, are they? We've got to piece these things together. Maybe I can't keep those. He goes there. We tuck that in behind that flower. We can bring that leaf up onto his chest a little bit. His tail can go over there. Then we can keep that branch. Then I can keep that branch and that little guy. And he sits like that. Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose. I might bring him. Just can't. Can I get him into there? No. Can I get him over here? No, so it'll get messy stitching that. I think it has to go. And I'm going to bring him right down on that flower. No, I'll make it look like there's a branch, because otherwise he'll be sitting in amongst that flower and it won't really make sense that he's sitting there. He needs his branch. We've got the branch story happening. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that's okay. We can work with that. So what I might do is, first of all, pop a couple pins in him just to make sure his orientation that I've selected stays. Just to make sure that that's all where we want it. There is this little bit of leaf here. I just think it needs to be more there. But it's a lot cleaner. Yeah, that's better. And I've got a little bit more of that showing. I'll be able to stitch the little stems and then build up. Okay. Now you can use glue stick, you can use, whatever you like. But when it's detail like this, I keep going back to my art glitter glue. And this was from my journal making days. It's a paper adhesive, but it also works on fabric. And the beautiful thing about this is it dries really quickly. So I can put a little bit through here. This will help with fraying as well and help keep my piece anchored. And these delicate little ends will be nice and safe. And there's a little metal nib. I often get asked this, so I thought I might just talk a little bit about this product. There's a little metal nib that gets screwed onto the top of the bottle. And that's what's helping me with my fine lines. Another reason why I like this product is I can really get in there on those edges only and catch those threads before they break away on me. This little nib is sold separately. So if you do order some for yourself, you can get 3 sizes, I think. There's a smaller size than the one in my hand. This is a 8 ounce. So there's a smaller one and then there's a bigger one. You'd probably get away with a smaller one for slow stitch. We just don't use it as much in this world. But when I was doing journal making, I had the little one for when I was traveling and the big top-up jar. And then this one was my go-to daily. It's just a good size for my hands. Okay. And that's, excuse me, that's already adhered. So now, the only thing is you must put that pin back in the top if you put the bottle down, because it seals itself shut. I'm not sure of the ingredients, but it does say could cause cancer. So be very careful with the product to not get it on your skin. And if you do, get rid of it. I just don't trust it. I'm not sure of the actual ingredients, but it sort of looks like PVA glue to me. And it looks like they've added some magic elixir to it to make it adhere really quickly. And that's probably the nasty stuff. There we go. Little bird is secure. Yeah, he's perfect. Perfect. He's much better than the last one. And I like how I've got this soft little bit of foliage with him as well. I think it sort of opens up the image a little. It's not so dense with the artwork. Probably going a bit too far ahead here, and it's probably already starting to set. But I'll try and get easy. I do have the quilter's glue that you see a lot of people use for basting in English paper piecing. And then I've got my general glue stick that's blue from the local stationery store. So you've got to put your pin back in. And the pin has to be steel. If you use a normal pin, it'll rust. Therefore, when you go to pick it up again, you'll have orangey, rusty coloured glue coming out for a bit. So make sure you get some steel pins if you lose the pin that comes with the nib. And I ended up putting a bead on it. That's not the original pin. They're a lot longer. I put a bead on mine because I kept losing it. Excuse me. There we go. That's pretty good. I wonder if I could work that in. Let's do it. Let's fussy cut it out. What the hang? Oh, hang on. We've got to put words. No, just leave it, girl. Leave it. That's enough. Okay. Now, remember I said I had an idea for down in here. I sort of feel like if I do green, 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 it's just going to be too much. Oh, that's not bad for the petals. Oh, hello. You're going into the thread. I'm thinking a real dark. Maybe even a... I don't think it's dark enough. Maybe you go darker. Down in the shadows. That's better. So this is a pearl cotton, I think, or is it a Wonderfill? Yeah, it's a pearl cotton Wonderfill. Okay. Now what I want to do, this won't be very exciting for you guys, but I think it'll work a treat for my piece, is I'd like to do weaving in those little spots to create a little bit of shadow, and because it's woven, it should be visible because the stitch will be different to everywhere else. So what I need to do is lay down my stitches that will go up and down. Oh my goodness. Like so. If it means I need to, oh goodness me. Got a frog in the pipe today. Had a coffee and milk. It's one of the hazards of drinking coffee. Now, because I need to go up and down through all these, oh, excuse me, guys. Got real husky today, haven't I? Yeah, because I need to weave and go up and down a bit, I'm going to sneak a few extra stitches past the green just to make sure I have an odd number that I can weave into. I think this will be the trick. It just needed another colour, I think, but within the family of the colours. I might just go and check on Pepper. She's having a really big woof. So I might just go and pull her into line, guys. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, it was two people walking two beautiful border collies. I've spoken to them before when we were first in the place, and I told them that I had two dogs coming from Brisbane. So we haven't spoken since, and of course now Pepper and Bandit are here and giving them the royal woof as they pass by our side boundary down near the lake. So the last probably couple of weeks, they're always looking up here, these pair. And so I went over and opened the door and pulled Pepper into line. I've taught her the word leave it. Bandit too, of course. He just tags along. Pepper's the ringleader. So we've got the word leave it, and that means she's barking at the fence line. She's to stop and come back. And it's working a treat. But the problem is, which is what I was just chatting to the people with the border collie, you know, I apologise for my dog giving them the royal woof as they pass, and they said, oh, don't worry about it, it's all good, we love our dogs. But still, you know, you don't want your dog woofing people trying to have a lovely little stroll around the lake and you've got two mutts in my yard. Give them the woof. Hence why I've been working really hard on the leave it business. And so I had a quick little chat to them. They got two black and white border collies and they're spectacular. They wanted to know what Pepper and Bandit were because they've got that. Pepper in particular, it looks like a border collie with her pricked up ears. So they were lovely. And they said, don't worry about barking, you need a guard dog too. I said, yeah, it'd be good if I could get 2 barks and then that's it. You know, let me know that someone's out there, but back away and let them have a bit of peace and quiet. And of course, they're border collies, which is beautifully mannered and just stood there. Well socialised. But they're lovely. Beautiful dogs too. So yeah, they definitely wanted to say hello and have a little chat because I did notice they were looking up to see if we were home and the last couple mornings. So I'm just going to anchor that stitch that came across. So in amongst all that, I've started my weaving. It's a tricky shape because of the points. The main thing is you need a few upward strokes of your stitches to be able to weave. So if it means sliding in an extra one where probably the artwork isn't, you can cheat and do a stitch as well. I think I've figured that. Pick that guy up. There we go. You guys probably can't really see too well, but you're stitching anyway. You're not even looking at the screen. I know how it works. We're all just hanging out. It's the newbies that'll be like, what's she doing there? Go and search YouTube weaving and you'll find someone who's got a really good camera system and the patience of a saint to give you an actual lesson. Yeah, that's going to be good. To have these grey bits like through there, just to get a bit of depth to the piece. That will be my homework. And the other thing I might do, if I have time, is grab out my chocolate thread and stitch down the bird's branch. Because if anything's going to get damaged in the rustle and tussle of stitching, it's going to be all of that. So I might do that as well for my homework. Just get probably maybe even one strand of stranded cotton. I don't want to lose the fineness of that branch. And stitch down his little perch. Oh, seriously, I need my magical knot. Yeah, this is good. It's like a steely, well, no, it's not a steely grey. It's a green grey. Colour's amazing. They can be so different, but at a glance you think, oh no, that's grey and grey. I know I really worked hard at picking the wall colour for this house, and it's a soft silver dove grey was my words that I would say to every paint shop that I walked into. And then one day I was in a display home and the wallpaper that was behind one of the beds in this display home was the perfect colour. So I stood for about half an hour trying to get a photo that captured that colour. So I did photos at distance, closer, until I got the right photo that showed, you know, the grey. So then when I went to paint shops, the paint assistant could see what was in my head. And it worked out really well. Really happy with it. The last house that we had, the grey my husband picked. Nothing against husbands picking colour, but he really wanted a grey wall through the house, and I've always gone neutral. But we've sort of been selling in houses over the years, so we've kept everything neutral and then let the next people change it. But at least when it went to market, it was just a cream, soft white. So he was like, oh, I want to try this Hampton style and it's grey walls. But his grey, I just didn't like it. It had too much blue in the tone of it. It was just too much. And in certain lights, it actually looked blue. So I was determined to take over the colour selection this time because he was convinced he did a stellar job. And I think what saved his paint was all of the edging, doors, trims, ceiling, everything was white. So it gave him the look of that Hampton style. But the blue paint, no, it's grey, it's blue. No, it's grey. Anyway, we sold that house and built this one. So I found the silver grey dove tone. Sort of the chest of doves in Australia has got a bit of a silvery undertone to the feathers. It's a cool grey. And it's really good. Put it this way, I can look anywhere in the house, dark shade, you know how light changes through your property. I can look anywhere and I like the grey, whether it's in a shadowy area or a bright sunny area. And that's what I think is a successful colour, that it can transition through light and you don't dislike anything that you're seeing light-wise. I think that's the trick to it. So really happy with it. I've got a couple feature walls that are a darker grey. And I wouldn't say I love them. They're very flat colour. But they're okay. And they're only here and there. Okay, we're there. So now I'm just doing little stitches. Where there was only the one strand, I'm just doing little stitches to make it look like it's woven. Let me bring that up to the camera. See that in there? You're probably thinking, oh my goodness, all that work for that. I think it's going to be the trick. I think having that grey deep in around the place, like I might put a little bit over here so that that leaf pops. A little bit there, a little bit there. Definitely there. Might even sneak up into here. Maybe not, because I might highlight that stripe. Let's end that off. So that's the plan, guys. Drop in the background colours. Now the brown. Let's grab that out because otherwise I won't have my box of tricks with me. I need a little container that's good for the couch instead of dragging that big thing. Hang on, hold that thought. Just want to grab. This little guy will do. So he's got to go. I think this will be too thick, but we will have a stranded cotton that I can break down like that guy. He's perfect. I'm sure I used that on that denim jacket. Yeah. Yep. Very good. So what I'll do there, I think, is probably, I need a better needle, but that can go in there because we'll need that needle. But I need a fine one. Otherwise, if I use a crowbar, like a chenille needle, I need a reg. It will disintegrate the fabric. So I need a tiny hole. Might try it with two. See, I don't know. Is that dark enough? Is there a darker? I think. Oh, to be fussy. I think that's a darker chocolate. Yeah, this is a little bit too flat. Is that the one? Oh, that's even darker. Oh, yeah, that's better. And I really should wind it on. Have we got a little doobie in there? Let me just grab, oh, I tell you, doing homework, housework. I need a little thread bobbin. There's one in there, but I prefer the little hard plastic ones, if I've got one. Of course I don't. This will get me out of trouble anyway. I think it's an old one that's I can reuse. Yep, that'll do. Okay, so we've got a little bit of thread here. See, lazy girl. Some people swear by doing this. Others say no, don't. Just pull it out. Just pull it straight out of the piece, the skein. I'm a bit of a wind it on to. Got a hang of a knot here. And, you know, at the end of the day, those embroidery threads, the stranded cotton ones, they would be 25, maybe 30-year-old. That's how long I've had them. Go back to the cross-stitching days in my 20s. So, yes, they get a bit of a crease from being wound, but I'm not showcasing my work in a, you know, to be judged in a show or something where you want those thread fibres to lay flat. That I can understand. So all I'm going to do is just do a little, I think I'll do a little sideways stitch, sometimes going right to the side of the piece of fabric, sometimes pulling back from that edge. See how there's like shadowing in there where the artist has printed a little bit of cream? I want that to stay. So I will be just gingerly, 2 strands, sneaking along the chocolate only. We've just had a security camera put on the property that is motion detecting, and it's triggering. Oh no, it's nothing. It looks like it's a flat battery. It's all good. It's all good. The number of apps and, oh, these smart this, smart that. I don't know. I have to wonder. My husband's right into all those little gadgety things, and I looked at his, and we've got my home, I think it's called, and it controls the air conditioning, which is fair enough, you know, an app that allows you to turn on air in each room. That's clever. It's been around for years. But now that company has started branching out into my lights and my home, I think it is. So when we built this house, he's had some chip put in that talks to the power points. So now you can control your lights from the app. And I tell you, I looked at Gaz's phone, the app, because his phone was nearby, and I was wanting to turn the warm air off because it was just getting a little bit too warm. And he's got all the lights now connected up to his app. So the whole thing is, you know, wired. And he hasn't done it for me. And I said to him, oh, you've got all the lights now connected to that little app on your phone. And he says, yeah, do you want it done it on your app? And I said, nah. I said, it's just getting too complicated. And then I sort of sat there and thought a little bit about it. And I said, the ones on the outside of the property to the lake, are they able to be put on my phone but the rest stay? And he goes, yep. And I said, those would be handy because I've had times where Gaz has gone back to Brisbane to check on the businesses and you know, mow the lawn and, you know, do things at the house while we're waiting for it to settle and go to the new owners. And I've been here by myself. Pepper and Bandit have started woofing like crazy, and 9 times out of 10, it's been a kangaroo just passing through. A couple times it's been some fishermen, which is fine. But the thing is, when it's all pitch black out there, I can't see them, but they would see me standing on the patio pulling the dogs back and sort of checking out that it's all okay. So what I can do now without me going out there and potentially putting myself in harm's way, well, you know, the kangaroo could be huge and knock me over. No, we're fenced, like it's not going to happen. I'm thinking more of the 2-legged variety. Kangaroos have 2 legs and 2, yeah, okay. The human variety potentially could be thinking naughty things about, you know, coming in onto the property or something, and I'm standing out there like a pork chop. So what he's done is he's just put those 2 lights on my app. So now when Pepper and Bandit are sounding the alarm, I can be safe inside with the doors locked and turn on the patio light and the side light. So now it looks like, you know, someone's home, someone's investigating without me being out there in my PJs in the dark. So here I was, you know, scoffing at lights being on apps, and it actually is probably not a bad idea. I haven't done the rest of the lights in the house. For goodness sakes, girl, get up off the couch and turn the light on or off. It's good exercise. But Gaz loves it. He loves just sitting there and flicking buttons. It must be a boy thing. I don't know. All the lads I know like it. And all of the girls I know are like me. Just get up and turn the light off and grab a biscuit on the way back. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. Technology. Soon it'll be reading our thoughts, and I can just think the thought, turn the light off. Oh, what a scary day that'll be. Well, in my yibba yabba, I've started stitching down my little branch, which is definitely going to make the top of this piece very clean in the way of stitching. That's a really good match, that colour. So it's nearly a buttonhole stitch here that I'm doing, just over and over, right next to each other. Essentially couching it down, but there's no thread there. It's just a little piece of fabric. I think that'll look really good. And then when I come back through here, I'll just pinch a little bit of those with my thread. I might even need to drop down to 1 thread. I'm using 2 here. I wonder, I might even stitch into the bird. Oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to help myself. Follow the chocolate and stitch the little guy. We'll see. See how much time I have. Got 3 months, don't rush it. How we go for time? We're cruising. I'm just going to come up a little bit. A bit of the thread that is cream is peeking through. So I'm just going to pop an extra couple stitches. I've got enough to do it left on my might just do a couple there. Okay, let's end that off, and I think we have a plan. And I've got myself some homework to do. So I will catch you next Friday. And in the meantime, I'll get the little branches secure so that they don't get destroyed. I might stitch into Little Bird a little bit. We'll see how we go. And I'll get all of the grey done just to get us a bit of shadowing through there. Then I think the next bit will be leaves. I'm working from the back to the front. So that way if I get really crazy with lace and fabrics and thickening up all of these to make them very textural, the leaves in the background are done. So unfortunately there's a bit of boring stitching happening first, but that's okay. See, even that's a good colour. Ooh, that was sitting in this tray. That's probably better than that. Yep, pack that one away. This one's pretty good. Very similar. So that'll work. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to toddle off. You guys have a great day, and thanks for joining me. We'll see you again in the next video. Bye.